Hey tribe, what's up and welcome back. In this video, I actually got a really good comment off a short video that I did. And I wanted to discuss this comment because I think this is an excellent comment that actually holds people back when you're trying to live life on your terms. You're trying to get manifesting to work for you. And but lo and behold, let's jump into this. Like what is this comment? And the premise of the short. Now, this short video actually comes from a longer form video I did. That's where kind of most of my shorts come from. 95% of my shorts come from long form videos. But anyway, in the short, I'm talking about when we're trying, we're kind of in that indecision mode. We're kind of in that indecision of should I do this or should I do that, is do both. Okay, that's what the most successful version of you would do. Okay, that's more of an abundance mindset. It's more of a wealthy mindset that you do both. Okay, besides trying to go back and forth, you want to do both. Okay, bottom line. So I give this example, a really, really simple example to kind of prove my point. As I said, well, if you want to go to a movie, you're trying to decide, do we go to a movie or go to dinner? Kind of deep down, you really want to do both, but you're kind of indecisive. Do both. Go to dinner, then go to a movie, or vice versa. Go to a movie first, then after the movie, go to dinner. But the whole premise is do both, because that's what the most successful version of you, again, would do. That's an abundance mindset. It's not about picking and choosing. Okay, if you want to do both, do both. Okay, now there's, again, from time to time, there's going to be like, well, I don't want to go out to eat. I just really want to go to a movie. That's fine. But if you kind of have that deep feeling like, I kind of want to do both, then do both. Because you're choosing the abundance route, not the scarcity route. But anyway, let me read to you this comment here. This is going to be a simple edited video. One take wonder, baby. So the comment I got, let me put on my handy dandy glasses so I can read it, is that people who can well afford dinner and a movie never ask that question. You know what I mean? And how this comment is really kind of written is that once I read the whole thing to you, it's really how people are defending their position in life. You understand what I'm saying? They're defending, if they live in poverty, they're defending it. You understand? That's why they remain in poverty. Okay, if they're in scarcity, they're defending it. And that's why they remain in scarcity. Okay, you have to understand that. It might sound mean, but let's kind of dig through this so I can explain what I'm talking about. Get that notification out of the way. Okay, so he says, people who can well afford dinner and a movie never ask that question. That's probably true. Okay, if you can afford it, you never ask that question because you're operating out of the most successful version of you. Then he goes on. The ones who do ask it have a scarcity of funds, so they know it will cause them financial harm to indulge in both desires. That was a poor example of whatever it is you're trying to express. This is why I'm saying is that now either they are they can't do both, so they're defending their position, or they're defending other people's position that people have a scarcity of funds. Okay, people are under a tight budget. I understand that. And if they're under a tight budget, they know that they're going to be thrown over budget that month if they do both. So that's why he says it's going to cause them financial harm. Okay, then he goes on and says it's a poor example. But see, that's what I'm talking about. What we have to understand really fast here is that, one, when I read it, I answered it. I answered it nice. That's how I am. Okay, because it's all about consciousness. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. Like, nobody is wrong. Everybody's right. His opinion is right and my opinion is right. Okay. Why would I say that? Okay, why would I say he's right? Because or they're right. I don't know if it's a, guy, girl, what. Okay. But the reason why I say this is because if they really believe and they have to defend their position, Okay, and scarcity, they got to defend it. Remember what Neville Goddard said, since we're doing a lot of Neville Goddard stuff. And what's the law of assumption? And the law of assumption is like the law of belief. Okay, what you assume to be true for you has to be shown in your reality. Okay, so if you assume that you have a scarcity of funds, and that's going to cause you financial harm, that's what's going to be shown to you. Okay, if you defend your position, listen, if you defend your position of not having enough money, you bring in truth to it that you don't have enough money, and that's what's shown to you in your 3D world. You understand where I'm going with that. Now I can flip it and say, well, what we want to do is always be that most successful version of us, because once I'm very sensitive to environments I put myself in. That way I'm not thinking scarcity. You understand? But let me I'll read my reply to you, to the reply to them, to you, then we'll discuss my reply. I said, it is not a poor example. I mean, one, the short is coming from a long form video, but the concept of having both applies to everything minus the excuses. You see what I'm saying? He's making an excuse either for him, even for themselves, or for somebody else, okay? Or he's at least being sensitive to other people. And I say, yes, I understand that someone may be under a tight budget, but realistically, they cannot do both every single weekend. You know, realistically, you might not be able to go to a dinner or a movie every single weekend. Understand? But you can do it once a month. You understand what I'm saying? Or you can do it once every 3 months. Okay, this really goes into identity work. This really goes into, like, when you go on vacation, like lots of times, you know, I would create little mini vacations every 3 months. Okay, it doesn't have to be a month vacation. It doesn't have to be a 2-week vacation. It can be a weekend getaway. But the whole purpose for your weekend getaway is to behave and act like your most successful version of you for that weekend. Okay, money doesn't concern you. Nothing concerns you. You do whatever you want for those 2 days. Okay, you act, believe, carry yourself, make decisions like that most successful version of you. It's the same thing here. Okay, if you have to do something once a month, okay, you treat it like an identity exercise. Hey, this weekend or tonight, okay, we're gonna do both. We're gonna go to a dinner. We're gonna go to a nice dinner, and then afterwards we're gonna go to a movie. Okay, so that whole night, maybe it's one night, maybe it's one night a month, maybe it's one night every 3 months, but that one night, you're behaving, making decisions like that most successful version of you. That's what I'm talking about, my friends. Okay, and that's why I really want to share his comment to you, because it is such a great comment. I don't look at it as negative, okay, but I look at it, that's their consciousness. And it kind of, again, I'm going to repeat myself, but it kind of reminds me how people will defend their position in life, where they are in life. They would defend it to death. They would literally argue with you and debate with you to death, okay? Where life hasn't given them what they wanted, and they defend that position. If they're in poverty, even if it's generational poverty, they will defend it. You know what I mean? Remember, when you defend something, you totally believe it. You know what I mean? Again, whatever you assume to be true has to reoccur in your life, has to be shown to you. Okay, see, that's the dangerous road they're going down, because you're defending it. And listen to this, he's defending other people, okay, which kind of goes against the law of consciousness. Okay, now Neville Goddard called it the revision technique. Okay, the same powers I have, the same powers you have, because source is inside us. Okay, the same powers we have to manifest what we want, to call the unseen into the seen, is the same powers I have for other people. Okay, so if he's looking at other people, maybe he's not in this situation, but he's being sensitive to other people. And you say, well, other people can't do it. Well, because you have a poor self-image of that other person. Okay, what we should be doing is looking at other people at their most successful state, how they ought to be. That's what Neville Goddard talked about. Okay, that's the power we have. Okay, it's the same power we have for us and the same power we have for somebody else. Okay, if somebody's in poverty, I don't look at them as if they live in poverty. I look at them as they're living an abundant, wealthy life. That's how I see them inside my imagination. And for me, seeing them like that, that helps them getting pulled out of that poverty state. You understand what I'm saying? This is why Never Goddard always shared. Now, he shared simple examples, just like I shared a simple example in my short. He shared simple examples. Like you have a friend that's unemployed, maybe he got fired, laid off, whatever, and he's struggling finding a job. But you don't look at him or her as they're unemployed. They don't have a job. In your imagination, you already see them employed. You see them having a dream career, dream job. And on top of that, you see them making twice as much as they did before. That's how you see them. Okay, just like if you have an alcoholic in the family, you don't get around the table and talk about Uncle John, why he struggles with alcohol every time you have a holiday dinner or a get together. Okay, this is such a trap that people do, and I've done it. Okay, and from time to time, I still do it if I don't catch myself. You know what I mean? It's so tempting to get involved with those types of conversations. But what we should be doing is going inside our imagination, think about Uncle John, that he's broken free from it. He doesn't struggle with alcohol anymore. He got his life together. He got his whole life together. He has a wonderful career. He has his dream job. And Aang walked in. I had a brain fart now. Even in my videos, I'm leaving the bloopers in the videos because the Chad is busy nowadays. so if someone bothers me, jumps in, I used to basically take out the cut and stuff like that. Now I'll just leave it in there. But anyway, we have an alcoholic in the family. We see them blessed. They've conquered it. They don't struggle with it anymore. They have a great house, a great life, an abundant life. That's how we see them in our imagination. We don't listen, guys. We don't defend the state we're in. If you want to defend the state you're in, you defend that most successful version of you. You defend that abundance is your birthright. You defend those states. You don't defend poverty, defend scarcity, or you don't try to, what I want to say, you don't try to debate or basically find like an angle to try to disprove what I'm saying. And that's basically what's happening. Like when I talk about money, in a video or in a short, the shorts I get like a lot of comments because it might be a 45-second short out of a 20-minute video. And if in a short, if I'm talking about money, you can see people's triggers around money. Okay. Or you can see people's triggers around, well, the advice you're giving, you're just gonna take people into bankruptcy. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, I think that's it. I think at this point, I'm just going to ramble on and on and on and on about it. Just to make sure I've said everything I want to say. Let me read the quote one more time. Let's have some fun with this. I'll read it one more time. If anything comes to me, I'll share. If not, we'll wrap up this video. Because this is, again, we're having some fun. One take wonder, baby. I mean, all my videos, some videos, again, are polished. I do strong edits and stuff like that. Other videos, hey, it's just me. It's just Chad. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's read it one more time and we'll wrap this baby up. People, and also when we read it one more time, I did forget to say this. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Okay. Because this is a community. We all help each other. And we all help each other and strive for each other to live life on our terms. That means something different for everybody. Okay. But 100%, you can be, do, and have anything that you want in your life. Okay. You just have to believe it. Okay. And stop defending your older states. Stop defending them. Okay. Stop putting on the battle armor. Okay. Like you're going into war, but you're going into war defending your poverty. You're going into war defending your scarcity mindset. Okay. You're going into war defending your tight budget. Well, if you're going to a war like that, defending those states, you're bound to that fucking ass state, my friends. That's what you have to understand. You should be denying, choosing, and being the most successful version of you right now. That's what you should be doing, my friends. That's the state you should be defending. Okay, the state you should be defending, the state you draw the line in the sand and saying, this is my year, this is my moment, this is who I am, this is who I'm being the most successful version of me. And whatever that is for you, that's what you defend. If the most successful version of you is wealthy, you defend wealth. You defend that you can do both. You can have both. You can have whatever you want. You don't have to pick and choose. You can do both. You can have both. And no matter what scenario it's in, if it's in a simple scenario or an advanced scenario, you can do both. Okay. Listen to this. Let me tell you this story real quick. Right now, as I'm speaking, they're almost done. They'll probably be done today. It's been going on for a week. I haven't done a live stream for a week because this has been a busy week for me. We're redoing I'm pointing out here, but it's actually out here, the driveway gate. So we put up a really nice gate in the driveway, and we finished the front wall. That way everything matches going here. We still got to finish the sides, but we basically put up a driveway gate. I did it more for the puppies because the puppies were running to the road. So that way we can keep them inside the property. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry. So that's really why I did it. Eventually we were going to do it and finish it. But when I put up the gate, okay, again, this is Eng's house. I live in Thailand, so I'm not tied to this house at all as far as legally. You know what I mean? Like, now, Eng and I are not married, but even if we were, and me being a full-on, I have no rights to this house. You know what I mean? Because foreigners can't own land. So I know this going into it. We've dated for almost 4 years now, something like that. So I know that, okay? But when Eng came to me, she came to me months and months ago and wanted to put up a gate, her and her sister, and I told them no. And then they started going super cheap with me. And just to put up a really cheap gate. They thought I would say yes because it would be super cheap, and I said no. You know what I mean? Because I basically said, why are you going to put up a cheap gate? Then in 6 months it's going to look like it's 15 years old because they built everything out of iron and iron rust, and you know what I mean? And it looks like literally in 1 year, it looks like it's 15 years old when it's only a year old. I even for them, I talk kind of rough. I was like, you got to stop doing things cheap. I understand that, it's budget and stuff like that, but you got to start thinking prosperous. You got to start thinking from abundance. Okay, so then finally we got the puppies. I decided, it's kind of a weird situation. I decided, okay, let's put up a gate. But I could have just easily went and said, you know what? It's not my house. It's not anything. I'm not tied to it. I'm tied to it a little bit, but legally I'm not tied to it. Okay. It's not like I'm going to go to court and win this house and win land because that's never going to happen. Not in Thailand. And you know what I mean? So when I said like, okay, I'll put the gate for you, we started looking around. I started looking at gates, which ones I liked and stuff like that. And when we got the builder over here. Once we got to the builder, he took me to the shop. I bought the best metal. You know what I mean? I bought the best metal, the best paint, the best sealant, so it wouldn't rust. And Eng was kind of, I could really tell that Eng was kind of not, I mean, the word impressed isn't the right word I want to use, but grateful, because I wasn't doing cheap. I was doing the best thing for them. You understand? Even though I'm not tied to this house, I'm doing the best thing for them. Okay? Her dad lives here. Okay, and I'm going to do a separate video on this. I don't even want to tell the story, but just to, like, once they brought it, like, he could see how nice it was. Like, he just sitting out there, like, looking at it. He's 71, 72, just looking at it. Like, you could tell he was just so grateful. It was a very unique moment. Okay, and the extra expenses that came along with that I wasn't aware of. Like, you need little things here and there. You know what I mean? But it goes along with this example, because I could have just said, kind of that both scenario, like, okay, I could have just said, well, let's just do the gate, put it the cheapest one. I don't care because I'm not tied to it. You can do whatever. Okay. The front wall wasn't finished yet. So I could have just said, just do this. I don't care how you do it. But I didn't. I said, let's do both. And on top of that, let's do both, but let's do it the best way. So I did the best thing for them. You understand? And now maybe you can sit there and argue and say, well, Chad, you have the money to do it. Okay. That's not the point. The point is your mindset. The point is your state of being. Where are you coming from? Okay. When you're making a decision, who's making that decision? You have to understand this. You have to be self-aware of what you're doing. Okay. When you're making a decision, there's only two yous. Okay. When you're making a decision, it's only coming from two places: the most successful version of you, or the poverty side of you, the old version of you. Okay, that thinks in poverty and scarcity, that thinks you can only do one thing when you really want to do both. Okay. Like, you always have to pick and choose who you're being in every single state and every single decision. Okay. And like I said, I get where he's coming from. If you're under a tight budget, that's fine. Okay. But what I am saying, I am arguing and proving my point, is that you can 100% once a month do both. Once every 3 months, do both. Because you're putting yourself in that abundant state. You're tasting it. You're tasting success. You're tasting the life that you want. You need to taste it. Okay. And let me end it with this, because, I am in Thailand. You see a lot of poverty in Thailand. Thailand is more of a poverty country. There's a lot more poverty than there is middle class and wealthy. And there's a huge separation between poverty and middle class. Way bigger separation than what you see in the United States and Europe and all that stuff, UK, wherever you are. You know what I mean. And this is why I can tell you. Okay, even if you're under a tight budget, your money goes to what you think is important to you. You understand? Okay. If you smoke cigarettes, that's important to you. Okay. So you can smoke 1 or 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day, no matter if you can afford it or not. Okay. So you put your money to what you feel what's important to you. So money is still being spent either way. That's how I look at it. Okay. And, some of us are just in a situation. Okay. Some of us, it's not poverty. It's not a poverty mindset. It's just situational. It's temporary. Okay. You got to look at it like that as well. It's temporary. My situation is temporary. Okay. And it's almost like, there's a lot of techniques you can do. It's almost like when I was going to bed last night, I was thinking about Neville Goddard's I remember when technique, or I remember when affirmation. I remember when I wanted to make $10,000 a day. I remember when I want to be viral on YouTube. I remember when I want to be the $15 million man. I remember when I wanted to be a multi-millionaire. I remember when I wanted to do both. I remember when I wanted to go to a movie and go eat out at a nice place. I remember when I wanted to do that stuff. Okay? Because you're tricking your mind, you're playing with your mind. When you say I remember when, it means it actually happened. It's actually happening now today. It's actually occurred. You actually have what you want when you say I remember when. You understand, my friends? But anyway, let's wrap up this video, because it's like 23 minutes and I kind of got off on a tangent. It all relates, you know what I mean? But let me proofread. Let me go through this one more time, or we'll wrap it up. You comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, this is what they said. People who can well afford dinner and a movie never ask that question. Okay, the ones who do ask have scarcity funds, so they know it will cause them financial harm to indulge with both desires. That was a poor example of whatever it is you're trying to express. You know what I mean? Comment below. I love to hear your thoughts on this. Okay. Do you agree with me? And like I said, honestly, it doesn't matter if you agree with me or not, because again, law of attraction, law of assumption, state of being, no matter law of consciousness, it's whatever you assume to be true for you is what's designing your world, my friends. That's what you have to understand. Okay. It's not that Chad's right or this person's right in this comment. We're both right. I think that's a better way to sum up this video. We're both right. Okay, you're right. Okay, if you comment below and you write whatever you write, that's almost a self-reflection of what's happening in your 3D world. I want you to see this. I want you to be aware of what's going on. I really want you to be aware of what's going on, my friends, tribe, because it's not about debating things. It's you see the truth, what they're living by. So if I can go inside his life and I can see what's happening in his life, and I can see, and maybe I knew who it was, and that how he commented would be the same reflection or self-reflection or a mirror principle into his life. You understand? Whatever we assume to be true for us, we have to experience. We have to understand that. Okay? There's no getting around it. There's no manipulating the laws of the universe. None of that, my friends. Okay? The laws are exact. Listen, the laws are black and white. The laws are not the laws of the universe. Your subconscious mind is not trying to figure out what's best for you. That's why I mean they're black and white. It's very impersonal. Okay? The more you understand this, the more you can take control of your ship of life. Okay, the more you can be the author, the director, and the star of your movie, of your imagination. But you have to understand, whatever you assume to be true for you is happening to you. Okay, in every single area of your life. Okay, my friends. But I just wanted to share that example because I really wanted to pull out that he's defending his position. What position are you defending? Are you defending that most successful version of you? Or are you defending that old self? Who are you defending? But other than that, tribe, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.